up, y'all? DC Fago guy. Welcome back to another What's Happening Now. Holy shit. Has a lot happened. A lot has happened in the last week. Really in the last couple weeks since I did the last What's Happening Now. But quite specifically in the last week, a ton of shit has went down. And look, I know I did a video recently about, negative things and trying to avoid them. This is something you can't really, ignore, right? So this is where, when I say that you approach negative things as respectfully as you can, I'm going to do my best to do that in this video, which I think is going to be pretty easy because with a lot of the shit that actually went down, I really didn't have a whole lot change for me, if that makes any sense. We're going to dive into that, right? I'm titling this video A Rough Time for MNE. The image that I'm going to use for the thumbnail is what I seen on Twitter. It's like the MNE logo, but it's crying. I thought that was hilarious. And it really just kind of feels like really appropriate to use. I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't want to be disrespectful, but it was pretty fucking funny. Before we dive into anything though, we got to give a shout out to our motherfucking members. Shout out to J Word. It's J Word? I'm going to always say J Word because the question mark is going to be a lot. So shout out to J Word. Shout out to Kabazu Chaboom, Lorgasm, Karmakazi, Ivy Killa, Unique Freestyles, Do It for the Underground, Impede 23, and Sample of a Bad Example. Thank you guys for your continued support. If you would like to become a member and support the channel, there's a link in the description for you guys to go do so. Shout out to our members for their continued support. Now, like I said, a lot happened. And honestly, I had everything here ready. I was going to film this What's Happening Now on Sunday, the 6th? Yes, the 6th of July, right? Today is the 11th. I ended up not being able to film this video, and then everything really started to fucking pop off. My video was gonna end off with Alla's Lulu's statement about leaving the label, and that was gonna be a nice little, hey, cool, congrats, good luck to them kind of thing. Everything that happened fucking happened. One of the things that I am going to not talk a lot about in this video, I will touch on it a little bit later. I mean, maybe we can just get it out of the way. And that is the whole Skee situation that happened. It's very unfortunate. I don't have a lot to really say about that. I think it's a very shitty situation. It's a very shitty situation for Magic Ninja Entertainment. I've not really been fucking with Gmo for years. When the beef was first popping off with ICP and Twisted, and he did his Pull Your Resume diss track to Violent J, and I watched him online and how he was just interacting with Juggalos and making the statement he made about about Fago lovers, saying don't share my shit, I don't need you guys. I really distanced myself from him then. In 2022, when I kind of let go of whatever I was feeling towards Twisted, I went to go revisit MNE, or I went to go visit Skee to see if things changed, and I really didn't feel any differently. I just did not enjoy his music like I used to at one point in time, and I don't know, I just never really dove back in and became a fan of his. So when this all happened for me, it was all well then, and kind of moved on from it. The situation, very fucking shitty. What happened to his girlfriend, baby's mama, which apparently this has been going on for some time. There is a GoFundMe for her. I will link it in the description for anyone who wants to go donate to that to help her out. So I will link that in the description. I believe it's for medical bills and things like that. But yeah, that was everything that was already going on, that one got kind of dropped. But yeah, just wow, what a situation. You know what I mean? What a fucking situation to be Magic Ninja Entertainment, to have that bomb drop as everything going on with Alla's Lulu was going. And I feel like I'm getting way ahead of myself, but the whole Gmo thing, very, very unfortunate that happened. I am definitely on the fuck Gmo bandwagon, which I kind of was all along. Let's get off of that topic and let's get on to shit that's fucking happening. Now, I kind of have this a little mixed up because we have some new releases that were released some time ago, like not some time ago, within the last couple weeks. And we have some very recent stuff that was just recently announced, like within the last couple of days. So I'm gonna start it off with Bukshot releasing the Antagonist, a full 36 brand new tracks. And I'm trying to remember when it said that this was coming out. I think I have it pulled up here on the actual website on mobstylemusic.com. There, of course, are bundles, plenty of bundles that you can get for this. They've got just, let's see, you've got a 3-inch magnet free with any order. Of course, you've got the CD by itself. You've got a shirt bundle you can get. You've got a shirt and CD. You've got a jersey bundle. You've got, what's this one? The Antagonist 4.2 USB drive that you can get. There's a couple of these are confusing me a little bit. Okay, one comes with a baseball jersey, a coin, a card. Is that a coin? That's not a coin. It's like a mob style coin minted metal card. And then a fucking 12-inch autographed flat. Of course, lots and lots of little bundles. Bukshot kills it on the bundles, I'm telling you right now. I felt like I had it like pulled up somewhere of when this is coming out, but I do believe it will hit streaming at some point. Usually the way Bukshot does his releases, the physical comes out first for those who pre-order it, and then within a week or two, it hits streaming. But 3 discs, I think that's what it is, right? 3-disc CD set, 36 tracks. And I'm gonna be honest, when I saw this, I went, whoa. This is honestly a little intimidating and it looks a little exhausting. And I don't mean I don't mean that in any kind of a bad way towards Bukshot. To be completely honest with you, one of the reasons I don't visit Tech Nine's Killer album very often is because of how long it is. It's a 2-disc set. And you know how Tech Nine is. Each disc is going to be, you know, about an hour, 20 minutes long. Like, he packs his discs full. And I don't know how long a lot of these songs are, but I saw this 3-disc set and I was like, whoa, this is going to be a little exhausting. But brand new Bukshot coming out. He's got a freaking gang of people on here. He's got features with Ill Bill, Demi Demery, Straight Jacket's on there, Madrox is on there, Loon Squad, Stevie Stone, Jaron Benton, Ritz, Straight Jacket again, Apathy, Joey Cool, fucking Wolfgang, Timbo, a lot of feet. He's got Jelly Roll on there, man. Fucking Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll, who's gone super fucking famous, is on this, which I'm curious if this is a feature he's had locked down for some time or if this is going to be something new. That would be interesting to peep that out for sure. So, brand new Bukshot, Antagonist, dropping, I assume anytime soon is when it'll start coming out. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have not been keeping up on a lot of the mob style releases. My attention is elsewhere. I've got a lot of my attention on LLE and a lot of the things that Low Key is doing. And that's kind of where I'm hyper focused at and have been kind of for the last year or so. But there's things that pop up on my radar, and Bukshot is somebody who pops up on my radar every so often. The other one that was just announced Wednesday. Like I said, I'm filming this Friday, July 11th. Brand new EP from Stray. If you guys have not watched my reaction video for Arson, I just dropped that this past Tuesday. The video for that dropped a week ago. So I was super late on doing that reaction video, but I wanted to do it. So if you haven't peeped that reaction video, you can go do so after you watch this, or you can go watch it real quick and then come back, however you want to do this. But you can go peep that out. That is one of the singles off of Enjoy the View. And if you have watched that reaction video, I was trying to think of another project that he had promoting. He's actually got it promoted right here on this flyer. Thank God. Flinch. That was the fucking album. I could not think of the name of it. He's got Flinch in the works as well. So we've got Enjoy the View coming. Flinch is on the horizon. And like I had said in my reaction video, Samson, and Stray are going to be doing like a follow-up, I guess, to Black Summer, which I assume is going to be Red Winter. At least that's what Samson said in some Facebook comments. So definitely some new Stray coming. If you have not peeped out Stray, definitely go check him out. Again, I'm going to recommend you to Cloudy Alibi, which is Stray's full-length album that dropped back in 2023. Absolutely fucking amazing. That was my introduction to Stray. And like, he's got that album and he had an EP before that, and right now he's got a couple of singles. So if you've never heard of Stray, definitely go check out Stray. And honestly, go check out Sky Swamp Orange. I feel like I give too much attention. I mean, let me rephrase that. I feel like I direct a lot of the attention to Stray. Stray is actually part of a band called Sky Swamp Orange, which I'll be honest with you, it wasn't quite my cup of tea. I enjoy me some Stray. Novels has dropped. Novels is another member of Sky Swamp Orange. He has dropped an album. I believe he dropped his last year. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Wasn't quite my cup of tea, but it might be your cup of tea. So it's definitely something to go check out. Sky Swamp Orange. I think they've got an album out. One for sure that I know of called Odium, which again, wasn't quite my cup of tea, but it might be your cup of tea. So definitely, if you've never heard of Stray, if you've never checked them out, go check them out. Go check out Novels. Go check out Sky Swamp Orange. It might be something that you've been sleeping on, and it might be something that you're gonna be like, fuck, where has this been? So something definitely to go check out. And so moving on over to, I'm gonna skip past what I have here on my tablet and then come back, because I feel like this is more in line with what we've just been talking about. Monoxide dropping the Chainsmoker Box Set. They put this up, what was it? I think it was like the beginning of July. They put out this Monoxide Chainsmoker Box Set, and this box set honestly is stacked like a motherfucker. It comes with it's like the Monoxide's version, you know, the Taylor Swift version we've talked about previously. It's got the Monoxide version of Chainsmoker, where he went in and re-recorded everything, which I'm curious now. No, I'm not curious. I'm sure it is how it is. I'm just gonna let that train of thought go and not even chase after it. So it comes with the remake, if you will, the re-recording of Chainsmoker. It comes with Chainsmoker 2, the standard version. It comes with Chainsmoker 2, the deluxe version. And it comes with Chainsmoker 2, the remixes, along with 3 brand new remixes, which I think it says here. Yes, includes 3 brand new remixes from James Garcia, aka Young Wicked. Gonna be completely honest with you, I'm a little upset because I bought this fucking USB drive back on Black Friday because I was like, yo, this gives me a physical copy of Chainsmoker 2. It comes with the remixes, and now it's like, fuck, I could have not gotten this, and I could have gotten the box set, which, to be honest with you, I have not gotten the box set as of this recording, because again, I've got the USB drive. I mean, I'm curious to hear the Taylor Swift version of Chainsmoker, but I'm not curious enough to spend $60 on it. You know what I mean? Especially when I have the original Chainsmoker. I've got, again, the USB drive of the second album. From what I can tell, looking at some of the pictures that they posted online, it looks like everything in this box set is going to be a digipack. So my first train of thought is it's gonna kind of like be like the box set that they put out for the DJ Clay Let 'Em Bleed mixtapes, which, I mean, hey, digipacks aren't all terrible, I guess. I'm just not a huge fan of them. Always my biggest gripe about them was if they crack, that's it, that's done. You have to rebuy the album. You can't just swap out the case. I preached that shit for years. And then I ordered King ISO's Get Well Soon, which came in a digipack. I opened the motherfucker up. The disc tray was cracked. And I'm like, this is what the fuck I was talking about. I never reordered the CD because I was like, you know what, fine, fuck it. This is just going to always be my example now of why I don't like them. Which, hey, you know what? I just kind of realized the album is called Get Well Soon. See that big ass crack right there? That's kind of ironic now. My digipack needs to get well soon because it's fucking cracked. It's never going to get well. It's just going to always be cracked. But that's why I hate digipacks. It happens. I know they're more affordable, I'm sure, than jewel cases are. So, it is what it is. But the Chainsmoker box set, I think it's still available as of right now. You go right now, they've got bundles. I believe they've got one where you can get a jersey, you can get like a lyric sheet. I think that's it. Just the jersey. What else was there? Oh, a photo. There's like a photo book, I believe. I don't know if that's part of the actual box set or if that's a separate bundle. Honestly, I didn't super dive into this box set. I took one look at it. I took one look at the price, and I was like, I moved on. As soon as I saw that it was $60, I was like, I don't need this. So I moved on from it. But yeah, Chainsmoker Box Set, kind of a cool idea. Maybe if it wasn't so expensive. So if they don't sell all of them and Black Friday comes and it's half off, maybe down the road I'll pick it up. But as of right now, I'm not. But for those of you who really like Chainsmoker, I'm talking to you, Roan. I actually texted him and said, hey, this came out. So for those that like Chainsmoker, there's a box set out and you can go pick it up. I'm assuming it's still available. Like I said, I didn't even go check to see if this shit was still available or not. But yeah. Anyway, backing up just a little bit, we had the announcement for the 5th and final Ultra Live Monster 5 show. And I'm sure most people like me were thinking it wasn't going to happen. I kind of honestly got to that point, but I really started to get to thinking about it, right? They originally announced the Ultra Live Monster 5 shows in 2020, like right before COVID, if I remember correctly. It's been a couple years, or was that 2019? It was right in that area that they first announced them, right? Come to the fall of 2020, we get the House Party Peep Show, which was the first Patreon they did during COVID. That became one of the Ultra Live Monster 5 events. Fast forward a little bit more to, I think it was the one that they had, was it February of 2021, right? Where that was then a Ultra Live Monster 5 show where they had the prom night reunion in Fort Wayne. Megs and I actually went to that. So I was subscribed to that Patreon that month. We went to the show in Fort Wayne. So when we went to the show, we actually got sent coins. Me and her both did. Plus I ended up with one from the Patreon. So we ended up with 3 coins from that particular month. So I don't have all 5 of the coins, but I have, like, if I was to go to this Juggalo Island one, right? Am I doing this math right? That I would have 5 coins, but they wouldn't all be like for each show. I don't know. I don't know why I brought that up. That was a weird thought. But I do have 3 coins for the second Ultra Live Monster 5 show. And then I believe in June of 2021 was the Hootenanny Hoedown. And that one was, it was all like the country kind of theme. And I remember that came with, I think, the Bloody Brothers single, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a coin. Then you fast forward to Juggalo Weekend of 2022. And that was like the hair metal rock show that they did. And that was an Ultra Live Monster 5 show. So, I mean, really, it seems like it's been a while since they did this, but kind of in retrospect, they also kind of did them quickly for the first 3. Then they had the 4th one a year later. So if they would have done one a year, it's 2025. If they would have had one of these Ultra Live Monster 5 shows once a year, I'd say a 5-year time frame to do all these shows isn't terribly terrible. I just think they kind of, were pulling them out from the gate pretty quickly. And yeah, I don't know. I know that I don't have all the coins. I can tell you, I looked up where this is going down at. South Padre Island, Texas. That's like damn near to the Mexican border. That's a long journey for me. So I definitely will not be making it. That's going to be a lot of money for me to go. Tickets for this are $125. I honestly didn't expect anything else besides that. I think a lot of their like special event shows, Juggalo Weekend, Hollow Wicked, The Gathering, and I'm going to assume Big Ballas. The big shows of the year are always going to have a pretty big price tag. But again, they are starting to tour more. And I did kind of want to show this real quick because I looked it up. That venue is on a beach. So, and you can kind of see here, I've got the picture pulled up. You can see what looks like a long parking lot. So I'm curious, are they going to do the show inside the venue, Or are they gonna try to pull some kind of a show on the beach? That would be kind of cool. Like pull a Lady Gaga and have a big fucking concert on the beach. Didn't she just do that recently in Brazil? Somewhere in South America. I know she just did a big show like that on the beach. That would be kind of lit. You know what I mean? Like maybe they have the stage set up right there outside the venue and the crowd is in the fucking, like on the beach, where some people like me who like to hang in the back, we would actually have to be in the water. Yo, that would actually be kind of lit if they have it set up like that, you know. And then also kind of like, again, looking here, there's like looks like a deck out there as well. So I don't know what they have planned for this show, but as soon as I looked up where this was and the fact that it is on the beach, I'm like, there are so many possibilities they could do. They could do it in the parking lot, they could do it inside the venue, but have like a nice setup for all the juggalos out on the beach. But how fucking sweet would it be for them to have a stage set up on the beach and have the juggalos attend on the beach? Granted, I know there are environmentalists out there that are going, no, we don't want Faygo littering the beach. Obviously, they would have to have a pretty big cleanup crew to get all of the Faygo off the beach, out of any of the water that ends up there. But I don't know, the idea is there, right? To do something on the beach like that, that would be pretty fucking sweet. I think so. But interestingly enough, on the Shaggy show that just went down this past Tuesday, the same one where Shaggy shouted me out and apologized to me.
I have to give a shout out and an apology right quick. And I'd like to give my shout out to the DC Faygo guy, Juggalo podcaster.
Which, thank you for the shout out, and I'm sorry I made you apologize. I didn't intend to make Shaggy feel called out, but I just wanted to, like, you know, put it out there that there is some dope content creators. But in that exact same stream, Shaggy actually mentioned, he dropped a bomb that I haven't seen anybody really talk about. And I know we talked about previously in What's Happening Now about the fact that they've gone on tour twice now. And I wondered if they would potentially go on a third tour that, you know, it's not part of the farewell tour, but if they would do a third tour this year since they've kind of been hitting the road. And Shaggy actually let it out that they're going to be on tour, and one of the tour stops, more or less, will be during this Ultra Live Monster 5 show.
That's right. That's going down in September, and hopefully any day now, those September dates will drop for our 2 weeks. We're going out in September, which that is a part of.
So no idea what specifically this tour is. Will it be for the Knot? Will the Knot come out at the Gathering and then they're going to immediately go on tour for it? Or is this going to be more of like ICP on tour that they've been doing? The Knot Farewell Tour, as Roan called it, that I'm kind of going to like give my stamp of, that's what we're just going to call this, the Knot Farewell Tour, which I just now realized they could call it the Knot. I'm getting stupid with names now. But Shaggy let that out of the bag, and I haven't really seen anybody talk about that they are going to be going on tour. So again, I don't know if it's part of the Knot or if it's part of this ICP on tour that they've been doing. They've gone on 2 legs so far. Is this going to be leg 3? Time will have to tell. I am curious and hopeful that they'll come to Indiana. I haven't seen ICP perform since Hollow Wicked 2023. So it would be cool for them to come to Indiana. I mean, I could probably make the journey to Illinois if they come to Illinois. I've never really been to any of the venues that they go there. I know they go to, what's the one up near, it's Joliet, which is basically a suburb of Chicago. I forget the name of the fucking venue that they go to up there. I've never been to that one. I would be curious, but honestly, just to be completely honest, I would just absolutely love it if they came to Pierre's in Fort Wayne. That would be beautiful. For those who don't know, Pierre's is where the Prom Night Massacre reunion show was for the Ultra Live Monster 5. So I would absolutely love for them to go back to Pierre's. I love Pierre's, been there a gang of times for different shows. So yeah, on this tour, I do hope that they make their way to Indiana. That would be pretty fucking sweet. So now let's move it to the final topic of this video. And that is Alla Zulu leaving Magic Ninja Entertainment officially, and subsequently Jamie Madrox making his post, Alla Zulu making their diss track. Man, No, man, I did not, like, that was not on my bingo card. I think it was very heavily implicated that Alla Zulu were going to be leaving Magic Ninja Entertainment. That part did not make any waves for me at all. Like, I saw it coming. So many other people saw it coming. Bill has been very vocal about, like, the chains coming off soon. You know what I mean? Axmas in 2023. Bill said on stage, the chains are about to come off. It's been a year and a half since, like, he made that statement. So I always remembered that. And I remember him saying that at Camp Zool. So when they announced that they were no longer on MNE, it was not a surprise. It was fully expected. They've been posting up this image here, along with some of them changing their cover photos to this that says No Masters. And it says, what lies underneath? Now, there were speculations that this was going to be a new album, but they did post that artwork, No Masters, What Lies Underneath. They put out their statement. This was on July 5th. The time has come, the church bells ring. Their chime fills the darkness of the void and shocks to life the pulsating, horror-filled heart of the Zooligan horde. Let it be known the Alla Zulu are no longer affiliated with any record label. Their home from here until eternity is their own imprint and domain. Long live evil. We want to give our most sincere thank you to those who have supported us throughout our macabre-laden musical journey thus far. Your undying support will not go unrewarded. We are only just beginning. A new era of darkness is upon us, and its arrival will breathe new life into this wicked shit we hold so near and dear. Are you prepared to walk with us as the world burns? Horror has a home, and it's with Long Live Evil. And you have this image of them that is, like, kind of patriotic looking. You know, they were celebrating Independence Day by becoming independent again. And for those who kind of got it twisted, pun intended there, Long Live Evil isn't something new. Like, when Alla Zulu first started making music, you know, that's kind of the rapper thing to do, is you have, like, your label, you have your stamp. You know, Psychopathic Records did it when ICP first started. They didn't technically have, like, they didn't function as a label until, like, the late 90s. I know they signed Project Born at one point, but that, you know, that obviously didn't go anywhere. But then when Twisted came into the fold, and then Misery, you know, that's when they became, like, a label. But they were always Psychopathic Records. The same thing can be said about Alla Zulu. They always had Long Live Evil. They started it in 2015. And when they signed to MNE, they still had Long Live Evil there. That was still, like, their brand. In 2021 then is when they, and I'm going to assume in 2020 sometime, was when the actual, you know, deal was made that Super Famous Funtime guys became members, or, you know, they signed to Long Live Evil, and that kind of made it an official label at that point. You know, they simultaneously were doing Long Live Evil alongside being signed to Magic Ninja Entertainment. So when I see people in comments talking about, like, the fact that they started this new label, like, they've always had this label. You know what I mean? And I'm assuming it's under my assumption that part of their contract with MNE was that they were going to still be able to do Long Live Evil. They were going to still be able to do their own thing as Long Live Evil. And I think that that really ties into what a lot of the controversy that came with them leaving and subsequently led to what happened, right? So then on Sunday, July 6th, we have this post from Jamie Madrox. Nothing seems to surprise me anymore. Big talk, shitty work ethic, bad decisions, mediocre skill sets, greed, entitlement, and the audacity to act like your failure is someone else's fault. Hard pass on all that bullshit for me. Keep throwing stones to bust others open. We'll bleed you out and see you on the other side. Yeah, and when I saw this, I was actually at a birthday party when all of this was kind of happening. So I had to, like, just kind of read it and, like, huh. And then try to be sociable with where I was at while I'm, like, thinking, like, is this about Zool? And of course, people in the comments of this post were like, is this about Axe? And Jamie was like, no, it's about bad business and things like that. Right? So, like, it felt very directed at Zool, but Jamie wouldn't come out and say it. The fact that the image has him kind of bluish and red and white, that's where people were kind of making, like, maybe this connection. But, you know, then also some of the wording he had in there is, I think, what made people feel that way. And then everyone wakes up Monday morning. I wake up to Megs going, hey, did you see this? And she hits play, and this diss track starts playing, and it's fucking Alla Zuliloo. And everything that Bill is saying in his verse, I'm like, oh, this is about Jamie. Oh, this is about, oh, what happened? What the fuck is going on? Like, I listened to that diss track the first time and uttered off so many, god damn, god, both y'all breath smell like the dick of Violent J. I was like, god damn, what the fuck happened? You know, I was almost under the, like, obviously I knew there was some frustrations because Gods of Evil Rise has been done. You know what I mean? Like, it's been done. This Gods of Evil Rise should have came out, I believe, in my opinion, in like 2023. I remember thinking in 2024 that this album was going to drop, but it has been in limbo. And again, Bill has been pretty vocal about, like, he's been vocal but vague because obviously, you know, contracts and business and stuff like that about what exactly was holding it up. But he was putting his little hints out there that there was, you know, there was some label shit that was holding it up. And I don't fully know yet to this day what it was that fully held that up. Like, we all have our assumptions, we all have our speculations of what it could be. You know, lots of people thinking that, you know, Zool wanted this album for themselves to release it on LLE. Obviously, MNE wants it for MNE. You know, there's all these questions of, did MNE front any of the money and pay for the production? Did they facilitate the meeting with Mike to do the production? Like, there's all this back and forth of, like, you know, what held this up, right? And all we can do is assume. I'm not privy to that information, and if I was, I wouldn't spill it, because obviously if I was trusted with the info, I'm not just going to go blab about it on YouTube. But all we can really do is assume what held this album up. And I think it's a pretty safe assumption that MNE absolutely wanted this to be released on their label. Whether it's because the contract wasn't fulfilled, I don't know. I don't know what kind of record deal Zool signed with MNE when they signed. But I have to assume that they went into this with plans to be able to leave with their masters. And that's why we get the whole no masters thing. That's why we get the line in the diss track saying, play the fool, all you had to do was let us leave without stealing half our LPs. Funny you try to take them all, turn around and wheeze, I'm appalled. That you yourself know what it takes to make a record. You yourself know your label putting in minimal effort, but you still tried to keep it. I'm the type to call a bitch when I see it. So it seems like they're maybe talking about Gods of Evil Rise. It seems like they're talking about their discography that they've recorded while they were part of MNE. And look, I know I see people in the comments, a lot of them feel they got to jump to MNE or Twisted Side and talk shit about Zool. Of course, you've got everyone that wants to back and support Long Live Evil, which, to be completely forthcoming with you, like, my ball is in their court. Like, I want to see them be able to walk away with their masters, because it's very ironic that this situation, when it comes to masters, wasn't like an easy, yeah, sure, here, give us, you know, whatever, this amount, and you guys can leave with it. Or, you know, come do these shows with us, come go on tour with us, and instead of us paying you, we'll give you a master. Kind of like what they did with ICP and their masters. I have to imagine, right, because all of that shit went down before Zool ever even signed to MNE. And if I'm Zool, I'm just gonna put myself into their shoes. If I'm Zool and I'm looking at them and knowing what they just went through with ICP, I'm gonna sign this contract, or I'm gonna make sure it's in the contract, like, hey, when the time comes that we leave, we want our masters. And, you know, knowing what they went through with ICP, knowing what they went through to get their masters, you would think that that would be a pretty good bargaining chip. You would think, hey, I'm sure Twisted wouldn't be, you know, they wouldn't be mad at that happening. They would be cool with us leaving with our masters because, like, they wanted their masters. So surely we could get them to strike that deal up with us. You know what I mean? And then when you really kind of look deeper into it, and again, I don't know nothing about contracts. I don't know nothing about behind the scenes stuff. I'm not privy to that info. And if I was privy, I'm not just going to go blab about it on a YouTube video. But you go and you look at all of the albums that have been released through MNE. It's all been recorded at Church of Zool, minus the Almighty, which I'm assuming the Almighty was before they had the Church of Zool. If I'm to guess, I don't know the history on this, and I feel like I should go school it. And right now, Robbie from Diff Tug is shaking his head like, you motherfucker, I've already talked about this. And unless he hasn't, I don't know. He does really great history breakdowns. If you guys aren't fucking subbed up to Do It For The Underground, go do so, because he fucking kills it. And I want to see him do more history dives, which I think is something he's planning down the road. But anyway, I would assume that they bought Church of Zool after they signed to MNE, and they maybe used the money from signing to them to go buy. I don't know. I don't know what the situations look like. I could be completely wrong on that, so please don't quote me and say, well, DC Fago guy should. Because I didn't, I'm guessing, I'm assuming, I don't know shit. I don't know a goddamn thing about that situation. But I know when you look through the credits of their albums, minus, again, The Almighty, and Necro 2, because Necro 2, for whatever reason, doesn't even have credits. At least I didn't see them, unless my blind ass didn't fucking find them. Maybe it's on the back, I don't know. But you look at their albums that they've released through MNE, they were recorded at the Church of Zool. They weren't recorded at the dojo. They weren't recorded with MNE. So I don't know if MNE fronted them money, gave them advance, said, hey, here's $500,000, go record us an album. You know what I mean? I don't know what that situation was like. But again, they recorded it in their own studio. So to me, in my honest opinion, I don't think that MNE was necessarily entitled to those masters, because it was not done in their studio. And if they wanted to get reimbursed their money from those albums being recorded, there was some kind of a deal that could have been struck up. And my assumption is that's what Zool was trying to do. And that's why we've had all this hold up with Gods of Evil Rise. That's why we've had, Gods of Evil Rise dropped at the beginning of May. It's the beginning of July now. And they're just now fulfilling, they're just now leaving the label. So I don't know if maybe they had to release Gods of Evil Rise through MNE and let them have that initial release, and then they could walk. I don't know. But I'm under the assumption, and again, I don't have the answers. I would love to have the answers. I'm not going to share the answers, but just to have the answers for me to say, awesome, that's a big fucking win. But it is my assumption that the whole reason that Jamie made his post and was upset so badly enough he would make the post that he made, because you read Zool's announcement and it doesn't seem like they were taking any kind of shots at MNE. It didn't feel like they were taking any shots at Twisted in their post. But then you get this post from Jamie that's like, what is this about? What prompted this? So it's my assumption that when Zool, they finally came to an agreement and were able to leave the label, that they either left with their masters or they left with them basically winning, with them getting what they wanted out of the deal. And that's what makes me think Jamie got mad and made the post that he made. Again, all speculation. I don't know. That's my assumption, and that's where my head's at, is that Zool won the agreement. Zool got what they wanted in the business deal. So big ups, congratulations to them going independent. It sucks to see this diss track come out, because now there is division, but there doesn't have to be. And one of the lines that Bill put in his verse that I really like is, he said, this ain't about us versus them. You can listen to who you want to. You can listen to who you want, or I'm paraphrasing. Go listen to the track. I'm sure everybody's heard it by now. But he says, listen to who you want. I'm just putting two of them in the trunk. Call back to their song The Trunk off of Psycho Volume 1. That was fucking dope. And that was him. That to me was him signaling to any Zooligans, there doesn't have to be bad blood. If you guys want to fucking continue to listen to MNE artists or listen to Twisted, I don't think they're going to give a shit. You know what I mean? This is just them venting their frustration. And that was my big takeaway. And so leaving the situation, I do see a lot of people that are like, fuck Twisted. And they're putting up the memes of the hate, the Twisted hate is back on. It doesn't have to be like that. You know what I mean? We can take this situation, we can congratulate Zool for being able to leave MNE and be independent again. And we'll see. Time will probably tell if they ended up walking away with their masters, because I am under the assumption if they did, they're gonna repress their albums, which, hey, I will gladly buy all of those albums again to help support that. Which is something, I hate to say this, and this sounds fucking shitty of me, it's not something I did for Twisted when they were re-releasing Green Book and Mansmith, or not Mansmith, but Mutant and Wicked and Freak Show. You know, I didn't buy, well, I guess not Freak Show because they don't have the master for that, but you know what I mean? I didn't go re-buy all these albums I already had that they had from Psychopathic, but I would be willing to do that for Zool. I don't know. I honestly, to be completely honest with you, that's pretty hypocritical of me, and I'm just going to call myself out right now on that hypocrisy. But I view Long Live Evil as one of the entities that's going to be the future of this scene, and so I would definitely support that shit in a fucking heartbeat, because like to me they're the future of this scene. Long Live Evil and Chapter 17 are the future of the Juggalo scene, in my opinion. So, yeah, I want to leave it off with that. Congratulations to Alla Zulilu being independent. If you guys did get your masters, that's fucking awesome. If you didn't, that fucking sucks. Because now those albums that they released are probably never going to get repressed, because all of their shit on MNE is like half off. Like, you can go buy the brand new album for $8. $15 after shipping. Like, that is cheaper than it was brand new. Which, that to me, again, that's what, at the very end when Jamie said, we'll bleed you out, that to me, when I saw everything on sale, I was like, oh, that's what he meant. They're going to bleed them out. They're going to mark all their shit down and sell it cheap, which, again, they got to get rid of the inventory. But to me, it's kind of like that little knife in there, because, you know, they're going to get a percentage of the sales, and whatever's left, you know, slice a little off the cheese, Zool's going to end up with like a crumb. So, hopefully that they walked off with a really good, you know, severance package for them, including their masters. That would be pretty sweet. But, you know, and again, for me, there's no lost love here for Twisted. Like, when I let go of the shit before, I accepted that they're human beings. I accepted that ICP are human beings. I accepted that every artist that I listen to are human beings. They make mistakes. They make bad business decisions. Everyone is not everyone is perfect. Nobody is perfect, right? So for me, like, it's shitty to look at the kind of hypocrisy to want to withhold their albums when they themselves fought to get theirs back. And, you know, they didn't blackmail anybody, but they did extort. They said, hey, we'll do this. Instead of paying us, give us a master. They could have offered that option to Zool. And if that wasn't a thing, or, you know, again, I don't know. But I want to wrap this up. I want to wrap the talk about it and just, you know, congratulate Zool for being independent. You know what I mean? I think it's fucking awesome. Now they can go forth and fucking kill it as Long Live Evil. And honestly, Gods of Evil Rise has been in limbo for so long. I'm gonna safely assume No Masters will be a Zool project. We know Billy Obey has a solo project that's done. I think he just posted on his Instagram the other day, and I didn't even put it up here. I forgot that. But he has, it's Rhyme Book of the Recently Deceased is the name, which I'm assuming is the name of his solo project. So we got a Billy Obey solo project in the tuck. We got a new Zool project in the tuck, which I assume is going to be called No Masters. I know I had seen, where was it and when was it? Funtime guys, super famous Funtime guys said that they've got their new album, which is supposed to be like a concept album of, like, I think it's a play on the words of the Bogus Adventures of Bill and Ted. I think that's what I had heard was the name of that. I'm probably paraphrasing. Hopefully Whipstick's watching right now and is going to comment and correct me. I love being corrected because sometimes I don't get my shit right. So please correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe they've got a project coming out, as well as, you know, Lee Carver's got a solo in the works. Joe Black's got a solo in the works. Funtime are going to, at some point, be working on their follow-up to their full-length album last year. And we've got the Long Live Evil collab album. So really, Gods of Evil Rise being delayed was a little bit of a blessing in disguise for me. And sometimes I try to find the positive in shit, because now that album just came out. They just dropped this diss track, which has a ton of eyes on them. So people should hopefully be going and checking out Gods of Evil Rise and realizing how amazing that album is, fully produced by Mikey Clark. But now they have these albums that they've been working on while that was in limbo that they can just like ride the wave. Here's another project. Wave starts to die down. Here's another project. You know what I mean? Like they're able to just drop it, which is another thing that I had seen people commenting is that they haven't done shit in 4 years. They've been doing shit. They've just been doing it through Long Live Evil, which, you know, another person I'd seen comment, well, why would, one of the lines in the diss track was that they haven't been paid in 2 years from MNE. And somebody commented, well, why would you get paid when everything you've been doing is on Long Live Evil? And I actually commented back and said, there's probably a reason they've been doing shit on LLE so that they can make money. Which, yeah. Let's move on and wrap it up and head into the collection plate.
Pass the collection plate. Show me how you give. Pass the collection plate.
So, like I have previously stated, any members that comment will automatically go into the collection plate. So if you want to guarantee your spot in the collection plate, go become a member, come back and comment what you want to comment, and I will pull it up here and we will fucking respond to it. But we also have a super chat, or a super comment as I call it. YouTube calls them super thanks. Anybody who super thanks or super comments will also guarantee their spot in the collection plate. But we have 66 Sam, who said, much clown love, no shout out necessary. I know it's not necessary, but it's coming. Thank you for that $10. I appreciate that. Now jumping into our member collection plate donations, if you will. MP23 simply says whoop whoop DC. Whoop whoop MP. Then we got 66 Sam, who also commented, that was a great installment, whoop whoop, and much clown love. RA is a beast. Definitely a legend. And I actually highlighted part of this as like mainly what I was going to address. He says, will tech be safe to perform? I don't think anyone is completely safe to perform at the gathering. One juggler that is off his meds or that overconsumes in the heat is capable of doing things they wouldn't normally do, like getting so drunk you are handing out money. Yep, that was me, 2013. As far as the Bone 3-6 tour, show is about 4 miles from my house, so no way I'm going to miss that one. That's dope. So I highlighted the part where he was talking about tech being safe at the gathering and really nobody being safe. And I mean, he answered himself right there. Honestly, anyone who is perceived as anyone can come up with their own like perception of somebody and just automatically be like, yo, fuck this guy, I want to throw shit. I know I have seen somebody that actually used to be in my Discord server, and I'm not going to call them out. They've disappeared from my Discord server, so I don't know what's going on with them. I need to like reach out to them. But I've seen people in my own Discord server go, yo, when I get to the gathering, I'm throwing rocks at this person. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, I get it, it's a juggalo thing, but that to me is just like fucked up. Anyone will come to their own conclusions about anybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll make up their mind about you and then straight up want to fucking just not do good shit, right? So I think, honestly, I think Tech 9 will be safe. I feel like enough of the beef that he had with Violent J has been worked out. I know it's kind of resurfaced, which is fucking wild to me, and we actually talked about this previously, so I'm not going to really talk about it again, but Tech 9 has performed at the gathering since that whole shit with Hot 97 happened, and it was peaches and cream, baby. It's kind of recently resurfaced in interviews and a couple of Tech 9 songs where he's like readdressing it. I think because it's getting brought back to fucking I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely don't think anyone is completely safe at the gathering. I don't think anyone is completely safe at any fucking concert. So definitely, you know, take care of yourself. Don't get yourself to a point where you can't be in control of yourself. So then we also have Unique Freestyles, who says, have they ever released a live album? I'm talking ICP specifically, and do you think it would hit differently? They've never released an album, but they've released enough DVDs. And honestly, I'm going to say because the DVDs exist, that I don't think that they ever really could, or I don't think they ever really should release an album that's live. I think they were talking, didn't they at one point announce or tease that they were going to do like an acoustic album? Now that would be interesting. You know, I know they did the acoustic set a couple times, and I've watched glimpses of it. I think for that, I would want to hear an album of them doing acoustic songs That would be interesting. I would be down for that. But as far as a live album, not really. I think I would rather throw on a DVD and see them perform and hear the songs live that way rather than on an actual album. Because when it comes to live albums, I don't listen to them. I don't enjoy, like, whenever for instance, when I buy a Fear Factory album, sometimes the bonus tracks that they'll have, and I think Linkin Park's the same way too, they'll throw live versions of a song on this CD, and it's like, I don't want to hear a live. If I want to hear this song live, I'll go to the show. So don't put this on a CD. They immediately, like, when I get them on my iTunes, delete it, because I'm not going to listen to the live version of a song. So we also have Ivy Killa, who says Tech loves juggalos but don't want to be remembered as a juggalo rapper. Story time. I went to a Tech show, and when it was time to take pictures, I asked Tech, can I wear my Dark Lotus mask? He looked at me a little bit weird and said, but I'm not in Dark Lotus. I said, I know, but I'm a juggalo and I take pictures with the mask on. He thought about it a second and said, okay, so yes, he likes the juggalos. Yes, the juggalos helped Tech's career a lot, but that event made me realize that he doesn't want to be remembered as a juggalo rapper. He wants to live forever like ICP. That was in 2008. And honestly, yeah, I think anybody who's out there trying to make music should want to carve their own path. I don't think that, I don't think that Ivy Killa was trying to tell this story in any kind of a derogatory way towards Tech, but that's the thing about it is, where's my train of thought going? Oh, I think any artist coming into this scene should want to try to carve their own path, or if they're, parallel to it. Big example, Kung Fu Vampire gets invited on the tour with Twisted back in 2010. I think that was the Slaughterhouse tour. He was painting his face. He was painting his face before he ever stepped into the juggalo world. The second he did, he stopped doing it. He didn't want to pander. And I have so much respect for him for that. So I think equally, like with Tech 9, I don't, like, it definitely seemed weird that he would be like, well, I'm not in Dark Lotus. It's not like Tech was being asked to wear the mask. So that part was definitely a little weird. But, you know what I mean? He gives props to juggalos, and I know he acknowledges that juggalos have helped him. I know there's interviews where he would sometimes leave them out. I don't feel like that was ever intentional for me. Other people have felt like that was, to each your own. But I've listened to enough Tech 9 albums, and I think honestly a lot of juggalos are just so tapped out from Tech 9 that they don't realize that he was still putting the shit in his music. You know what I mean? He was still putting it in there. Like, what was the one? What was it? Strangulation, the first Strangulation. In that, he was talking about something about someone wanting him to do a show with Eminem, and he said it would never work because there's too many juggalos in the crowd, or something like that. So, like, he's acknowledging juggalos there. In Strangulation Volume 2, like, he leaves off with a give me 2 whoops and 3 ahs, which the ah, I'm sure a lot of juggalos that fucked with Tech back in the day know from, yeah, that was the beginning of that. So that's kind of like his little chant. He had the whoop whoop in there. You know what I mean? Like, he has always shown and thrown nods to the juggalos. I feel like just not enough juggalos realize it, or they don't want to acknowledge it, or they just want all the credit for Tech's success, when the only person responsible for Tech 9's success is him. He's the one that grinded and kept honing his craft, doing what he was doing, making noise where other people were like, oh shit, this guy's dope. You know what I mean? Yes, juggalos were there to embrace him pretty quick, but you know what I mean? Let me leave it with this. If juggalos are solely responsible, or if they are majority responsible for Tech 9's success, then any other artist that was ever signed to Psychopathic Records should be or could be as big as Tech 9 is. I've thrown that argument back at people that have said that. Like, if juggalos are why Tech 9 is as big as he is, then there's no reason Twisted wouldn't be as big as he is. There's no reason that Blaze couldn't be. Because if that's the sentiment, then there's no reason that they aren't as big. So that's kind of always been my counter argument. We also have, moving from the members now, actually, I'm going to jump forward a little bit, because Kabazucha Boom is a member now. At the time that I added this, he wasn't. But I actually happened to pull this for the collection plate, not only because he said for the collection plate, but because I liked it. He said, for the collection plate, my thought and what do you think? They announced a Wraith Shangri-La show, which is cool. I think they should drop either a cypher or a remix or updated version of Homies with the legendary stage performer spitting a verse on Homies, like how they did for the tracks Gummies from last year. Should they do that? Or if not, those performers, then who would it be? Honestly, I'm gonna leave it this. I don't think they should do like a full-fledged cypher, but I know other people would be, but I wouldn't be mad at them if they redid it, but had Ouija do a verse. I wouldn't be mad at that because obviously he's their homie right now. And, you know, we're getting into the second sixth. And the whole thing with Shangri-La is nobody who wasn't on Psychopathic made a guest. Like, only Psychopathic Records artists were guest features on the Wraith Shangri-La. And I would be a-okay with them kind of doing that again for not only the Knot, but like he's saying, if they redid Homies and did a remix, I would not be mad at them throwing Ouija in there. I can't say if I would care for Ouija's part because he's not quite my cup of tea. But I've been blown away by Ouija before, so he could probably kill it. I think he really could. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. So then moving on then to the Drex 1987, who said, I was a promoter for Tech's Absolute Power Tour back in 2003. I can guarantee that the Juggalos were a cheat code for boosting his career from the jump. The crowd mainly consisted of all Juggalos back then, and Tech should really show more gratitude to them. And really, honestly, I already touched on that just a moment ago, which is crazy because his comment was down there too. And like I already said, like, he is showing more love. I don't think Juggalos recognize it because a lot of them will say like they tapped out after KOD, or I stopped listening in 2012, or I stopped listening, and and they'll give a specific time frame. And there's songs that I've heard him put out where he's referenced Juggalos. So it's not like he's just never acknowledged them. I feel like too many Juggalos want either all the credit or they're just not aware of the acknowledgement he's given. And again, I'm going to throw it out there. If Juggalos are responsible for Tech Nine's success, then Twisted would be just as successful. And look, you know what I mean? I'm going to leave it at that. But that is going to do it for this edition of What's Happening Now. This baby clocked in at over an hour long. Wow. What a doozy. Like I said, a lot of shit fucking happened. Again, shout out to our fucking members. J-Word, Kabazucha Boom, Lorgasm, Karmakazi, Ivy Killa, Unique Freestyles, Do It For The Underground, MP23, and Sample of a Bad Example. If you would like to become a member, link is in the description. Tell me down below what you guys think about What's Happening Now. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.